I'd like to write something from the point of view of the help. These colored women raise white children, and in 20 years, those children become the boss. We love them, and they love us, but they can't even use the toilets in our houses. Don't you find that ironic, Miss Dunn?
No maid in her right mind is ever going to tell you the truth.
I'd like to do a book of interviews about working with white families.
Courage is daring to do what is right in spite of the weakness of our flesh.
All right, I'm gonna do it.
I'm gonna help with your stories.
Y'all two brought me into this, but I'm gonna finish it.
It's quite scandalous. Sounds like Jackson, if you ask me.
What's the matter, baby?
Basically, your scale on economic status from high class, middle class, to lower class.
Our definition of social classes is the way you categorize people as lower class, middle class, and upper class.
So,
when income inequality is low, those in lower economic positions tend to be less likely than those in higher economic positions to favor the inequality being increased. Specific quotes from this article can be related to social inequality and relationships relative to social classes within the movie The Help. The article states, people are most likely to favor economic equality and redistribution if they are likely to benefit from it. We can relate this to the economic inequality from the movie in relation to the maids and the women they work for. Specifically, the fact that the maids were more likely to favor equality redistribution, such as the civil rights movement, because they would benefit more than the women who were considered part of the higher social class, because those women already obtained some of the civil rights that the maids wanted. We can also review the quote which states, the working class is least likely to favor income differences. We can refer this back to the movie when Abeling describes how she makes 95 cents an hour, $172 a month. From this statistic that Abeling gives, we can view a prime example of how the working class does not favor income differences. This being because when there is a large income difference, those from the working class are usually on the bottom end, making the least amount of money.
How do you think they portray social classes in the movie The Help?
I feel like it's portrayed, really well. They basically show how Caucasians, treated African American people like that were maids and everything like that, and how they held themselves higher, compared to the African American women that were helping.
Emma Clear, in her article Practical Perfection, The Nanny Negotiates Gender, Class, and Family Contradictions in 1960s Popular Culture, explains that in transition to the 1960s, cultural anxieties were high. The reason for the high cultural anxieties was that the nuclear family ideal of the 1950s was being abandoned. The author also explains that Freudianism in the 1950s, in some, gave an unrealistic goal for women, insisting that a woman's chief and most satisfying role in life is in the home. While McClear's article discusses nannies from The Sound of Music and Mary Poppins, we decided to relate this to the movie The Help. In The Help, Miss Abeling says she has raised 17 white babies in her lifetime. Her 18th one, May Mobley Leafold, would be her last one. Miss Abeling refers to May Mobley when stating her mama don't pick her up but once a day. Although Abeling is not a member of the white family which she cares for, she is a member in some light due to the role she plays as a caretaker and maid. McClear argues that in the 1960s, a nanny's unique role modernizes the father-child dynamic. However, the nanny seems to modernize the mother's role, as we do not see much of the fathers in The Help. This change allowed the mothers in the movie to become empowered by holding new positions in society. For example, in the case of Miss Hooley, her new position in society was to serve as president of the Jackson Junior League. This organization further allowed Miss Hooley to become involved in politics through writing and pushing for new legislation rather than staying at home doing tasks of maids such as taking care of children and cleaning them.
So how do you feel about the way they portray social classes within the movie?
It honestly pissed me off.
And what actually pissed you off about the movie?
Because they treated black people like shit.
For our third academic article, our group chose David Embrick's article, Two-Faced Isms, Racism at Work, and How Race Discourse Shapes Class Talk and Gender Talk. In the article, Embrick discusses a case study conducted at a bakery distribution plant that studied the effects of racial talk in both face-to-face conversations and behind-the-scenes talk. For Embrick, face-to-face conversations are very important to see how the racial talks and interactions favor in a racial society. In the movie The Help, aspects of the movie fit with some key points from Embrick's article. For example, in the article, Caucasian behind-the-scenes race talk consisted of racial slurs toward the minority race groups for their lesser value, but also some slurs were made to justify the racial inequality and racism felt towards the minority races. The Help shows this talk is in every part of life, especially with the racial slurs aimed at the maids, showing they were of lesser value than the sophisticated white women. The talks of segregation, whether it be entering the house from another room or the colored restrooms being outside, helped to justify the racism for the white women. The minority behind-the-scenes race talk in both the article and the movie consisted of the minority groups arguing over the placement of whites at the top and the minority groups at the bottom of the racial society. For face-to-face racial conversations in the article, both white and minority groups attempt to not make a scene by ignoring any racial tensions that they may encounter if possible. In The Help, the maids attempt to avoid a scene they would regret by being very obedient walkers. The white women, on the other hand, do not follow white face-to-face race talk, mainly because the time is in the 1960s, and most of the women do not mind letting the maids know of their low value in society. In the movie, the maids leave the white suppressors in search of a stronger, better life. At the end of Embrick's article, he states that in this day of age, racism has affected almost every part of society, and even with all the racial tensions, life goes on in this post-racial era.
Can you name any instances where you may see a distinct separation of social classes in one situation?
In a soup kitchen, maybe the people who are volunteering to help people out are in like a higher social class than the people who are there needing the resources.
I do believe the greatest example of that would be in like a person's occupation. I mean, most of the upper classes are of course doctors, lawyers, and you have the upper class college professors, and then in comparison you have people that spend their lives working at fast food industries or as janitors and grocery stores, and those are typically people seen in the lower classes, especially when it also comes to like very hard labor. That's the biggest example I can think of right now. I mean, with the growing influx of internationals into America, you also see that with them and how the internationals are becoming part of the lower social class because the only jobs they are able to get at the present are, of course, the jobs that nobody else will take, which are seen as low-class jobs.
Dr. Mundy's article, The Question of Men and Love, is a response to George Lewinton's and Simone de Beauvoir's views regarding to if men can express their love equally as women do. While explaining this, Du Bois categorized men into two categories, serious and passionate. The serious man sees their partner's freedom as important, but only if their society allows it to be. In The Help, Skeeter meets Stewart. In their relationship, it was going great until he found out that Skeeter was the writer of the book The Help, which went against society's views regarding African American maids. But on the other hand, passionate men views his freedom as superior. They feel that their freedom is more important than anyone else's. Johnny Foote exemplifies a passionate man in The Help because he does not follow social norms. While dating Celia Foote, she finds out that she is pregnant, which leads to their marriage. Johnny even ignored social views by welcoming Minnie to dinner with him and his wife to show their appreciation for everything that she has done for them.
I think that if someone's in a social class, they'll seek somebody who's also in that same class because it's familiar to them. And they'll think that in the future, things will go better because they're both used to a certain way of life.
No, not
And why do you think that is?
It's just because I feel like the way they perceive things, or people of higher social classes or lower social classes perceive things differently than the way, like, let's say, because let's say I'm middle class, you know what I'm saying? So things are not higher social class, they perceive things, or they may act a certain way versus how, you know, what I was taught or how I perceive things. You know, certain things like that.
Why not? Because I don't want anyone that's like poor. Now you can be richer than me, that's good, but you can't. I'm so glad you're being honest.
Yeah, I think that people in relationships tend to compare